Glory to Ukraine, I'm Oleg Christov, and this is a story for adults. Today we'll talk about the Muscovites. This has happened before. What's common among their rulers besides pathological Ukrainophobia? All these Ruriks, Romanovs, Lenins, Stalins, and Putins. The last one, as we all know, really loves kids.
Where does Russia's border end?
It's especially boys.
Russia's border never ends.
Well, all or nearly all Moscow rulers, from Putin to Ivan the Terrible, were perverts and maniacs. Let's dive deeper into this.
Subscribe to the History for Adults channel, and we'll tell you what's been wrong with Russia from the very beginning. You can support our project on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Links are in the video description below. And now, on to the sickness. Let's start with the first one, Peter the Great, the very one who created Russia as an empire, Putin's idol. Sasha Witzer rejected nothing. He reclaimed, well, these two really do have a lot in common. Peter adored anatomical theatres and dead bodies. Once in Amsterdam, Peter the Great was so enthralled by a dead baby that he decided to kiss it.
And kisses his belly, then immediately goes away.
In another Dutch town, Leiden, the Tsar again eagerly visits the anatomical theatre. Noticing his entourage's disgust at the dissected corpse, he orders them, pardon the graphic detail, but this is a quote, to tear the corpse's muscles with their teeth, and they obeyed. Peter the Great also loved exhuming corpses. In 1697, he ordered the exhumation of Boyar Miloslavski's body to drag it to the scaffold on Red Square where people were beheaded and water it with their blood. Years later, he also ordered the exhumation and rehanging of the archers he had previously sentenced to death. He hated and feared Ukraine and Ukrainians. He wanted to destroy Cossack autonomy. And when Mazepa and the Cossacks sided with the Swedish king, he ordered two genocides, one in Baturin, the other in Sich. But even the cruelest tyrant isn't eternal. Peter I died at 52 from a burst bladder, likely due to venereal disease. Leo Tolstoy summed up his life concisely and accurately. The mad beast Peter forces some to kill and torture others by thousands. He enjoys executions, drunkenly beheads, buries lovers, kills his son, and crowns his mistress. They erect monuments, call him Russia's benefactor, a great man, praising his deeds. God, how awful. Believe it or not, this mad beast, Peter, still has a monument in Ukraine. What a surprise. Where exactly? Share your guesses in the comments as we continue reviewing Moscow's rulers and perverts. Quote, German Empress Catherine, godless whore, husband killer, destroyed Cossacks and freedom. That's how Ukrainians from the Cyril-Methodius Brotherhood described Russian Empress Catherine II. Folk songs say similar things about her. Man, you've been busy. Her real name was Sophia Augusta and Frederica Anhalt Zerbst Dornberg. Her husband Karl Peter Ulrich Holstein Gottorp. Romanov, what can you say? Elizabeth made them heirs on a whim just because she wanted to.
Ridiculous!
In Ukrainian history, Catherine's known for destroying Sich and regional autonomy, but Pope Francis sees her as an enlightened empress. Peter I, Catherine II, rulers of that great enlightened empire. Legends of her enlightenment abound, like making 5 mistakes in a 3-letter word. What a surprise! Do you know what word it was? Write the correct answer in the comments at the end of this episode. Catherine's grandest scheme was the so-called Greek project. The plan: destroy Turkey, take Constantinople, Istanbul, revive Byzantium, and install her heir on the throne. She even named her grandson Constantine after the last Byzantine emperor. For more on politics and geopolitics, see our episode Hetmanate and the Enemy Hag. Number 11. From our History of Ukraine for Adults series, we'll now focus on her alleged nymphomania. If you search Google for Catherine II and sex, you'll get many links to porn sites. We won't show them here, just take my word for it. But you can always check for yourself. Favoritism and debauchery thrived in the Russian Empire for a long time, but under Catherine II it became outrageous. Attempts to count her lovers are futile, they were countless. Another mystery, did she do it with a horse? Ukrainian writer Kotyubinsky later answered this. Odessa Film Studio even made a movie about it. Yes, the myth that Odessa was founded by the promiscuous empress has long been debunked. In medieval times, the Ukrainian port of Kochube was on the site of Odessa. In the 18th century, there was the Turkish fortress Hagi Bey. Amid the invasion of Ukraine, Putin suddenly recalled Catherine's monument in Odessa.
Even hardcore nationalists, I think, won't dare tear down the city founder's monument.
It was installed in the early 20th century, then demolished by the Bolsheviks and restored in 2007. Catherine's image is demonic for Ukraine, so the monument has always been a source of conflict and discord. At some point, it naturally fell out of focus. Putin invoked the monument at the height of the invasion of Ukraine in October 20, and just 2 months later it was torn down. Well, no hard feelings. Oh, I almost forgot the word. 3 letters and 5 mistakes, that word is. Еще. Catherine supposedly wrote it like this, I, psi, or the soft sign O. Let's move on. Are our northeastern neighbors truly cannibals?
Бесконечно долгих 8 лет.
This isn't my invention, but the testimony of the father of history, Herodotus. If we believe him, 2,500 years ago, Scythian farmers lived in what is now Ukraine, and a wild tribe of androphagi lived to the north. In ancient Greek, andros means man, phagos means devouring, so we're talking about cannibals. Jokes aside, the first Romanov dynasty czar on the Muscovite throne was likely also a cannibal. It was the period of the so-called Time of Troubles. One dynasty died out, and Muscovy couldn't function without a czar. Eventually, local boyars invited Polish Prince Władysław to rule. Polish-Lithuanian troops occupied Moscow for 2 years. What an unexpected turn of events. Muscovites formed 2 militias and besieged their own capital. Famine and widespread cannibalism ensued there. Human bodies were salted in vats, meat was even smoked, and the future Tsar Romanov, who survived the siege within Moscow's walls, obviously tasted human flesh. The last of the Romanovs, who we know aren't Romanovs, has his own story. A swastika and mysticism fan, he wanted to bring the Russian world to Ukrainian Lviv, but it failed, and he'll soon be killed. Lenin. For more on Romanov, his Lviv visit, and the swastika, check our episode. Now, a bit about Lenin. We have several episodes about this character, how he created not 1 but 2 Ukraines, and about the probable one. The Stalin episode covers Lenin's successor, Joseph Djugashvili. We'll reveal a quirk of this mass killer. Turns out the people's leader and athlete's best friend collected sketches by famous artists like Repin and Surikov. But not just any, only those with nude male models. He'd add his own humorous captions to these. With a blue pencil, just like you, simply scared of the sun, a coward with a bare butt, don't sit on the stones, join the Komsomol or the workers' faculty, become a young pioneer, learn to pick a wall. One thoughtful fool is worse than 10 enemies. Among some sitters, Stalin saw acquaintances, alive or killed by him, and he turned to them as if to them. Red-haired, lousy Radic would not stand out against the wind, he would be alive. This is an allusion to the shot dead. By Stalin's order, the secretary of the Comintern, Karl Radic. Stalin named this sitter Georgy Plekhanov, a socialist who had already died by that time, who opposed the October Revolution and the civil war it caused. Caption, why do you call back, coward and disenfranchised? Disenfranchised. These were people in Stalin's USSR who were deprived of civil rights, the right to vote, and freedom of movement. And then the tyrant recognized the colleague of the all-union elder, Mikhail Kalinin. He writes that Mikhail Ivanovich is so thin, get busy with work. Onanism is not work, engage in Marxism instead. Jokes below plinthos are bad, but there are even worse ones like this. You need to work, not slack off. Stalin accused this teenager of being idle. There are plenty of such idlers, even among us. A philosopher. That's right, a philosopher. Or this fool completely forgot what to do. Seriously, is he implying that one guy needs to screw another while he's sleeping? Another example of Stalin's twisted creativity. Witnesses say that during meetings, Stalin often drew little devils. These drawings were later collected and destroyed by tyrant secretary Poskrobische. But one drawing survived. It's about an inspection of the People's Commissariat of Finance. The suspended acting commissar Nikolai Bryukhanov. A note was attached to the drawing, addressed to all Politburo members. Bryukhanov, for his current and future sins, should be hung by the balls. If they hold up, then he should be recognized as innocent, same as if acquitted in court. If they tear off, then he should be drowned in the river. In my view, this is not a joke or humor, but a stupid and brutal mockery by an all-powerful tyrant over his slaves and sycophants. It's also telling. Stalin did circulate the drawing with the note among the Presidium members. It was kept by the then technical secretary of the Politburo, Georgy Malenko. The commissar was later shot after unknown tortures. Well, that's all for today. Subscribe to our channel, support us on Patreon, or buy me a coffee. But most importantly, don't forget to donate to the armed forces of Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine.